Hello, welcome back for Unit 2 of our Modern World course here at Waldorf University. I think we're off to a very good start. It's great to see so many people from so many different places coming together to learn about our shared historical past. I think we had some good conversations over on the discussion board this week, or last week, and I look to build on those a little bit this week as we get into Unit 2. So as we get into Unit 2, in this video, we're going to talk about our first skill, which is going to be evaluating evidence. We're also going to talk about the discussion board and what to expect over there this week, and how to maybe build out and continue to establish positive kind of habits there. And then we're going to talk about your Unit 2 essay. So all those things coming up in this video. So our first skill is going to be evaluating evidence, or determining what sources are most accurate and applicable. And this is a really important skill, I think, in the times we live in, because we have so much information at our fingertips. And no matter what perspective you have or point you're trying to make, you might be able to find some weird hole on the internet that somebody will agree with you and have some support. And sometimes that can reinforce kind of, I don't know, just completely crazy ideas. Sometimes we can get caught in these echo chambers where we just believe that we're the only sane people, and the people we talk to, we don't ever interact with people with different viewpoints. We want to make sure we're avoiding those kind of things. So when it comes to evaluating evidence, we want to think about types of sources. And there's three kind of sources I think you'll utilize in this course. The first being primary sources. And primary sources are firsthand accounts of that are recorded during the time period of an event. So when we think about primary sources, one of the major positive things is we get a lot of kind of the raw materials of history that we can use to understand what things were like during a time period or at a specific event, and what motivated people, those kind of things. There is a downside to primary sources, where if we all know if we live through something, especially something traumatic enough to become historically significant, or exciting enough to become historically significant, I suppose, that's going to kind of warp how we feel about it, positively or negatively. So we want to make sure that we're accounting for those kind of biases with primary sources. Secondary scholarly sources are the type of sources I want to see you using the most throughout the course, particularly on the discussion board and in your writing. These are sources created by experts in a given topic. This is really important, and I think this is an area where many students can improve, that I see come particularly in our online courses, but residentially as well. This idea that secondary scholarly sources are created by experts on topics they spend a long time studying. There's a major difference if you were to talk to just somebody with kind of an informal knowledge of kind of native peoples in Iowa, for instance, which is something I'm an expert in. I spent 5 years working on a PhD directly related to that subject that turned into a 300-page book and a bunch of different articles and a bunch of conference presentations that all were under peer review, where other experts went and checked what I was doing and made sure that we were the kind of evidence that I was bringing out makes sense. And they were able to critique my arguments, and those things develop over time. And that's one of the things we want to consider when we're looking at kind of bringing in information to underwrite the points we're trying to make and the arguments we're making, both in essays on the discussion board. So you'll notice that in the Blackboard shell, I've put over on the side, it says research resources, and there's a variety of great stuff there, both from the Waldorf Library. There's the General Studies Index and the History Index that provide lots of great sites that can give you great quality information to underwrite the points you're making, as well as a lot of other things from places like the Smithsonian or the National Archives or the NSA, all sorts of different kind of high quality sources that I think can really help you on your road to utilizing quality information throughout the course. The third type of sources, and the sources I see most commonly, especially initially in these courses, are tertiary sources, which you end up with these types of sources. These are sources generated by non-experts. If you hop on Google and type in whatever you're looking for, and then kind of take one of the first search results, this idea that this is where, like, I don't want to see you citing Encyclopedia Britannica in the course. I don't want to see you kind of citing just kind of modern news stories written by journalists that aren't experts on historical topics. Think about these things critically. Think about who's writing it and why you should listen to them. Think about who's publishing it and what their reputation is, or what their goal is in publishing it. Think about all these kind of different things. Think about political motivations. We all know that a pamphlet on gun control written by the Republican Party or one written by the Democratic Party going to look incredibly different. And we have to sift out those kind of biases as well. We want to think about economic biases. If somebody's trying to sell you something, they're going to talk about things a little bit differently than maybe they would if they were just in the pursuit of truth or creating research and kind of exploring things for that reason. Social and cultural factors also can create biases. Social factors being how people organize their relationships into groups, cultural factors being established laws, values, languages, traditions, those kind of things. And we know that we sometimes have different biases towards social groups we're part of. For instance, if you follow sports at all, like I root for Waldorf over all the schools that we kind of play against, and not because Waldorf's inherently better, but because that's where I work, and I would rather see our student athletes be successful over other people. But it doesn't necessarily mean we're better at everything than anyone else. We can also see this, sometimes people that share our values, we're a bias towards accepting their opinions. People that speak the same language as some of these other things are things we want to consider when we're looking at sources. So I want you to take the skill over to the discussion board this week, and you're going to look at the readings in the chapter, which are a quality secondary source, and talk about the experience of conquered peoples in a variety of different places. You're going to kind of take this and extend it into the assignment as well. So any research you do will help you out as you put that together. So when you look at these experiences of conquered peoples, I want you to think about what kind of evidence you're bringing in. It's okay to make your points and think about just in your opinion, but this isn't necessarily just a free writing exercise. I want to see you bringing in evidence to support the things that you're saying, and creating a quality argument as you do that. I also want you to consider in your Unit 2 essay, we have all the specifications under syllabus and schedule, so make sure you're taking a look at that and crossing your T's and dotting your I's and those kind of things. But on that, you're going to look at European expansion during the time period we're studying into 3 different places, Africa, Asia, and the Americas, and how it was different and how it was similar. So as you kind of work on this, make sure you're setting aside enough time to do that. As you get started on the reading, make sure that you're going through and having the end goals in mind of what you need to be getting out of that reading. And if you have any questions, make sure you're reaching out. I am here to help you however I can. I appreciate the hard work you've put in over the first week, and I look forward to the great things you're going to do this week. Good luck.